Hey guys, hopefully audio is coming through and everything. I'm going to check it here in a minute, but just thought I'd go live here on YouTube. Facebook Live is not working right now for some reason, so or at least for me, it wasn't working. So I'm going to give YouTube streaming a try. Waiting for the thing to show up on my phone so I can see if the audio is working like it should. Sounds like it's working. Sweet. Alright, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I can see this. Watching. Sweet. Awesome. Well, hey guys. It's not quite the same as Facebook. I'm more used to the Facebook setup, but it's really good. I'm gonna turn my music volume down a little bit. Feel free to leave a comment, say hi if you want to. Alright, so I came up with this idea to do a poster with kind of the whole theme of like hoarding toilet paper. I don't think you can see that. Audio quality is really low. That's really weird. I wonder... I don't know if there's anything I can do with that. Let me see if I can hear it. It's weird because it seems like when I play it back on my phone, the stream, it actually sounds pretty decent other than the music being too loud. So yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know if it's your connection. Because when I'm playing it back on my phone through YouTube, it seems like it's fine. So that's all I can say. I haven't done YouTube streaming before, so this could be like a complete disaster, but that's all right. I'm going to start recording. Yeah, I think the music was probably too high. I'm going to turn that down. Excuse me. Okay. And also start recording this simultaneously because I usually try to do a recap thing at the end, or like a speed time-lapse version. Okay, so I already did a little bit of prep for this. I got some photos, so I'm gonna try to download those real quick. So I got this warehouse image, and if you haven't used Unsplash before, you're definitely missing out because Unsplash is amazing. Okay, so we're gonna go to the virus. That's the title of the poster today. Let's see what we got. Alright, we're gonna drop that in, and I'm trying to keep this to an hour tonight because I really need to get some sleep. So, but yeah, if anybody has questions or anything, like, feel free to ask away or chat. I wish it was like a two-way where you could actually communicate, but let's see. Got too many tabs open here. Okay, there we go. Got that, and we got the stream. I think hopefully volumes are a little bit better than they were before. Okay, so we've got this. I'm trying to think. I want it to kind of have like a warm, sunny vibe to it, but then like just piles of toilet paper. So I got also some stock photos. You know, I wonder if the audio is coming through the microphone too, and that's being a problem, but we'll try turning that down. Okay, so we got that. Oh, I guess I should pull my tabs over here so you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. Now it's going to be a lot of talking to myself probably, but open this one. Got lots of people are must have taken advantage of this whole thing, and these people taking these stock photos were the ones that made toilet paper go out of stock. I see how it is. Oh, cool. It's sounding better. Sweet. I'm gonna start with that photo, I think. License that. We have 3 current viewers. Awesome. Wasn't sure if anybody would find the link to come over here to YouTube, but So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. I have a dual monitor setup, which is why I'm like looking over here and then back, because this is my screen I'm sharing. It's handy because I don't have to like just share everything. Not quite that giving. Okay, so we want to keep this like fairly realistic in terms of scale. Let's stack this here. Zoom in, and this magic wand tool, quick selection tool, sorry, get that correct, is the bomb. So just gonna go ahead and do a quick. I'm gonna just do it kind of down and dirty because it's not like it's gonna be super zoomed in on these. So let's see. If I want to create, I'm gonna make this as like the bottom layer. Let's see. I'm just gonna do a quick version of this to see if this is gonna work or if this is gonna completely bomb. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about poster design or I guess Photoshop in general, like send them my way. Let's see, I'm gonna look up toilet paper package. This could be useful. This one. Trying to find like bulk photos. Hey Zadok. Yes, I'm actually playing music through from Soundstripe, just playing through their what is this one? Film underscore playlist. So that's kind of fun. And that way, sometimes like when you're playing music, like even on some of the ones yesterday, music that's, you know, obviously like copyrighted music or whatever, just in the background, then Facebook will mute those sections of your video. So I figured if I'm like talking on it today or whatever, that I should probably play music that won't get me in trouble with the algorithms. Whoa, that's a picture. Soundstripe is amazing. If you guys don't have a subscription to it, you're missing out. Or at least some subscription music service. It's just amazing like how it takes kind of the stress out of trying to find music for just little stuff. Like typically if I had to like license music specifically for something, every single time I wanted to do that, I would probably like license, or I wouldn't have good music nearly as often. Says it might, you guys might experience buffering, so let me know if it's cutting out at all for you guys. Could be because I'm trying to record and do that at the same time, but we'll see. I feel like this one's probably still the best option for that. So we've got, I want it to just be like one gigantic pile. Is that, I wonder if that would pass as toilet paper. I bet that would in the background. I'm gonna try that. Download. So yeah, it's usually handy to do the preview first, so you don't end up licensing one you aren't gonna use. But if I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use it somehow, then I'll just do it right away. But so like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna try to keep this to like about an hour. I've been taking way too long on posters, and I can't afford to take that much time every day. So go ahead and just holding Alt to subtract from the selection. just gonna be kind of rough with it because it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright. I'm just gonna take that, put it below. I like the ground. Actually gonna get rid of these for the moment. Try flipping that. And if I do another something like that. I think the perspectives might be a little bit too much. Well, it's not too bad. Now if I take this guy, make him a bit smaller. I usually try to get like the geometry of it right before I actually before I start honing in lighting or anything like that, just because that can change once you kind of have this stuff set. So okay, I'm actually going to go grab, I feel like this one could be a good one. Going to add that guy in. What's everybody, if you're out there watching, listening, what are you guys up to this fine Tuesday evening? Hopefully staying home, staying healthy, and hopefully doing the whole social distancing thing. Heard from a friend who actually likely got corona before they or just over the last week had pretty much all the symptoms. Didn't officially get tested, but kind of like just quarantined to be safe. And so it's like the first person that I know to really get it. Said it was pretty bad with the fever and chills and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, well that's true. I guess if I ask what you're doing, you're watching me. That's, I guess, kind of the obvious thing. My apologies if you're actually I don't know how interesting this is, but hopefully it's interesting enough to keep your attention. I'm gonna I guess we're going with non-brand toilet paper. I'm gonna download this one too. One of the things that I find that works well, with specific, I have an Adobe Stock membership unintentionally, and they charge you money to cancel it, and then I started this everyday poster thing, so then I was like, oh, well, that actually helps. So it's going to be renewing soon, so I need to decide if I'm going to keep it. But anyway, the where was I going with that? Oh, downloading the previews first. Then what you can do is just basically kind of like you would in if you put music into a project with the watermark and then switch it out later, you can just relink the file. So I can do that even with these Photoshop layers. I can relink these afterwards to the that works well. I can relink them to the non-watermarked versions, and it's really quick to switch them out. So sometimes I'll kind of rough in the geometry and positioning and composition, and then switch those out. So I feel like I need to have wish there was something a little bit more. first page. So much of the time, like, I spend the majority of my time actually just looking for the right image. That's definitely, or at least often, is the hardest part of the process. Especially finding images that aren't just like horrendously cheesy. Where do I need to add this? I feel like I need to add... You know what I could do? I wonder... If I grab one of these dudes... I'm actually gonna drag it down just above this layer. And then see what happens if I like... Paste it onto this side. So I'm holding down Control on Windows to position this, or to like warp it essentially. That could actually work. I just need to change the colors, obviously, but so Photoshop has really like enhanced their tools for like perspective shifting and stuff. You know what? That's actually a good question. I kind of have just set up a template that I use every time. I'm assuming you're talking about like the size of the poster. So ideally I would be at like 300 pixels per inch, but my computer is slow and it can't handle it. So I am at, so like typical poster size, so 27 by 40 in inches. If I go to, let's see, where is it? Image size. So I'm only at like 100. So this is like the actual like pixel dimensions. But that's basically like your typical poster size. And so I basically just like save as like whatever the last poster was I was working on as a new file. And that's kind of how I do it. But so not very scientific, but that's that, I guess. It's gonna be a bad idea. It's gonna take a lot of time. I'm gonna try group that, and then if I hold down, so what I'm doing right here, so I added a layer, and then if I hold down Alt and then click between the layers, it like only applies to the one below it. So in that way I can adjust that kind of stuff individually. I feel like it's top one is the adjustment. It's so easy to get lost in like the details, and then like well, as we found out like with the 48-hour competition, it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I'm out of time. So I'm trying to pace myself. I do feel like that really sells the toilet paper look though, so I might go ahead and try to just do this really quickly. Once I do one, I should be able to just duplicate it across, for the most part, so. I don't think they typically stack toilet paper this direction, but. I remember when I first started learning Photoshop, it felt like everything was not intuitive. But I feel like the more I use it, it's really kind of become like an extension of my arm. I feel like I still have a lot to learn with it, but just today I was looking up to some tutorials on how to create like light rays effects. So I want to see if I have time, I want to try it on this to kind of like get like the sun coming in. That's a lot of toilet paper. Okay. Let's see. So I want to go back. The one thing I don't like is how it handles like the selection tool thing. Like, I feel like it's clunkier than other programs in that regard specifically, but you kind of get used to it after a while. So, see this, yeah, drag that one. Once I get all this like matched and stuff, then I'm gonna try to color grade everything. Oh yeah, so in terms of navigation, so I have a mouse with a scroll wheel, so I can go up and down. If I hold down Alt and then use the scroll wheel, then I can zoom in and out. And then if you hold spacebar, then you can click and drag. So I feel like there's so many keyboard shortcuts. There's so many keyboard shortcuts I still don't know, but if you do know them, it like speeds things up so much. And definitely those two are super handy. Let's see, and then another thing, it's the same honestly as in like other software, but if you hold Alt and then drag, it makes a new copy. Enter obviously to apply it, and then Alt again. And if you hold Shift, then it'll like drag along, like essentially whatever they call it. Is it axis or axes? I forget. Different people pronounce it differently from different countries, and I always forget how we're supposed to pronounce it. But anyways, it'll kind of lock along a certain direction, so that can be handy for things too. They recently switched it in Photoshop. So originally you had to hold Shift to scale proportionately, and they recently just switched it so it scales proportionately by default, which is actually really handy. So I'm actually holding Shift to well, using Alt and Shift in different scenarios to kind of deform it to match what I want. Man. I wonder, it's feeling rather busy. I wonder what happened if I like head some that way, some not. And that might actually look better. Delete that one. Like add like over here. Let's see. Up here. This might have been a horrible idea. I'm probably wasting a ton of my time, but I feel like it might sell the effect a little bit better. No. Another thing that's like super powerful is blend modes. So Let's see. So I could try. Ooh, that actually almost makes it look like it's inside. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. That looks much more realistic. Okay, that's making me happy. I'm gonna go ahead and license that. It's always nice, like when you go down, like sometimes you go down a direction on an idea, and then it doesn't work, and you like spend like an hour or two of your time, and it's just kind of like, well. But when it actually works, it's kind of nice. Checking this out. It's always funny. It's delayed. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So now that I downloaded the actual licensed version, I can go back. If I grab one of these guys here, I can right click and then relink to file. And then I'm just gonna figure out which one it is. This guy without the preview. And then it should, I think it'll update all the instances of it in the project. Yeah, so you can see that watermark just disappeared on all those. So that's exciting. Okay, so I'm going to try to... I'm going to go ahead and... I'm just going to group this one more time. Call this left. I'm going to go ahead and actually duplicate that. Just overlay it there. I'm going to duplicate that again. And then I'm going to... I know there's probably a keyboard shortcut for that, but there. And there. So, looks a little bit symmetrical in terms of like the pattern, but I think we're going to go with it for now. So, let's see what else we got. Some Charmin. That could actually be kind of nice, just to kind of like add a little. I'm gonna go ahead and I suppose like technically I could save money if I like actually went and took pictures of stuff, but that's actually something I aspired to do at some point, is actually go and like plan out some ideas for some posters and then go and like do a photo shoot and then use those. Let's see, what is all the, so those. I'm actually gonna delete, well, I'm gonna hide these two real quick. Actually, I'm horrible about keeping organized, so I'm gonna try to do better here. But yeah, no, it's like so hard to find good, like especially when you're looking for characters. Like the poster I did yesterday was for a specific film project for a friend. They're pitching it to a studio, and so yeah, like it's important to find the right type of character look, and so that took me probably the most, well, at least a good part of the time. And so and then like just finding a thing where people don't look like and that's super annoying. So so it'd be fun to like actually go to an actual photo shoot where you can like even if they're not like wearing the actual wardrobe, like I can change that up as long as like I have like the facial expressions that actually work. Essentially the acting part, as long as that's working, then it makes a huge difference. Alright, so I'm gonna scale this down. Actually, should have probably done the mask before I scaled it down. But anyway, whatever. What's also nice about using like, I'm gonna actually start that over. What's nice about using masks in Photoshop rather than actually like raster layers and then like actually destructively editing is like you can just go and completely you can go and change up the mask later and like all the information is still there, so that is handy because I have to do that oftentimes. When don't shot assets, use a green screen, not be worth it. It's actually a good question. Honestly, for like Photoshop stuff, I probably wouldn't, just because I feel like it would be harder to get the lighting right. So I would probably just, well, and then plus you also could get like the green cast on it too. So I probably would just shoot with some kind of like solid background is helpful, because like if you're shooting outdoors where there's like lots of like leaves and stuff that are in focus, that can be really difficult for Photoshop to figure out where the edges are. But so yeah, I guess I probably would just try to find like some kind of solid background of some kind and then do it that way. I feel like this is like product placement or something. I actually stick that a little bit behind. I'm actually going to duplicate that again. It's going to make tons of it. I'm going to try... The other thing I have to try to do is remember to license the stuff, because sometimes it's like they're just really small. It can be easy to forget. Okay, I gotta start hurrying up a little bit. I'm gonna get this done. It's amazing what you can do with like squishing images to make them look like it's a different perspective. Okay, I need to figure out how to do a stack in the middle. I feel like I think this one might be our... let's catch it now. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Whoever would have thought I'd be licensing photos of toilet paper. Alright. Oh, it's a vector file. Nice. I'm actually going to open that. The other thing I try to remember to do is save early and often. Oops. Someone. There we go. Okay, so it's coming together. I need to grade this. I want to make this more sunny, so I'm actually going to just work on that real quick. More warm. Then I'm going to actually... I'm going to try to grade these stacks first, I think. So I find for like adding shadows and stuff, like just the brightness contrast one tends to do what I'm looking for 90% of the time. So usually what I'll do is I'll kind of go a little bit darker than I want. And then if I hit Control I, then essentially that flips the mask So now when I use the brush tool, I feel like this music doesn't really fit what I'm doing. But anyways, so then I can just kind of brush in the shadows. So, so you gotta think about this. So I want the light to be kind of like coming in where these, well, it doesn't really make sense anymore, but kind of like coming in through these windows here, and then these windows here. So that means I need to essentially kind of darken this side. Here, which that's looking a little bit much. And this side should have a little bit of, so that's, yeah, so I want to, I think, darken this side, technically. That almost needs, well, we'll do a first level. Erase off some of that. Keep it from getting too fuzzy. Alright, and then we need to turn it a little bit more warm as well. Oops. So there's our toilet paper. Go ahead and group that. Copy. This as a smart object. Try to match the scaling-ish. Watch that lovely loading bar. Go. So go ahead and duplicate that guy. I don't know why this idea just kind of randomly popped in my head. But so I don't necessarily have, it's not an earth-shattering purpose for this one. I want to just go shoot a bunch of like just facial reactions and like poster type photos, and then or like I've toyed with the idea of like creating like a site specifically dedicated to like concept art. Too deep. What is smart? Oh. If it's not too, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, so smart objects. Great question. Let me just, what was I labeling this? If you're familiar with like anything in After Effects, it's essentially like a pre-comp, so to speak. So like the advantage, so like if I took, let's just say like this whole stack of stuff here, right now it's just loose TP. So what I could do is convert this to a, actually I'll say this first. What I can do is convert this to a smart object. And so now this essentially acts like just one image layer. So then I can apply effects or like a masks and stuff as if it was just one Photoshop layer, but I can double click on it and that will open it in its own like Photoshop layer or Photoshop document, and all of the stuff remains editable the same as it was. So then if I update something here, you know, Command S or Control S to save, and then it'll update in this one. So it's kind of like a pre-comp in After Effects, or like a nested. Is it nested? I don't remember what Premiere calls it, but so yeah, that's essentially what that is. So it's super handy, like especially if you're so like a good use of it would be, say I was going to, if I make a square for lack of a better thing, and I'm going to, and I want to warp this to match the face of this, but I want to also be able to update the graphics on it. What I could do is take that, convert it to a smart object, and then I will take it, distort it to match what I want. So like something like that. So now if I want to change what that is, I can double click in here and I could just grab some random asset, paste it there, save it, and go back, and that's gonna it's already been squished to match that. So if you're like, it's kind of like a more procedural way to do something. So like if I was going to make a document that I want to be able to update and have all the effects apply without having to like go and rewarp that to fit every single time, then that would be kind of like a good use for that. So I honestly didn't really hardly use it for the longest time because it was like, I didn't quite understand how it was useful. And then when it finally clicked, it was like, oh, that's why you do that. The stack is looking a little sketch, but you know what? That's okay. Just embrace the sketch. So I want to copy. What is that? Yeah, I guess I'll take one of those. And I'm gonna drag that on top. Try to make this look a little less just obvious. Try to fix this, let's see. So there's also, in addition to doing the corners, you can do this like, oh, it doesn't work when it's a masked object. So this would be another case where what I could do is, actually, you know what, I should actually license that one really quick before I go too far. Where is it? This one. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so, well, I'll get to it in a second. But essentially, it doesn't allow me to do certain effects with it being a masked object. So by making it a smart object, then I can still do it like a normal layer, but then still have access to change it out if I want to later. All right, sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead and convert to smart object. So then now what I can do, if I go here, I can also do like this warpy thingy. Gives me a little bit more control of things. I'm getting a little bored of that music though. Switch to a sci-fi playlist. Oh, live stream? That's an actual playlist? Oh, that's for churches though. I don't think I really need that right now. Let's see. Sci-fi on Soundstripe is one of my favorite playlists. grouping things is really helpful too. Otherwise, you just get so many layers. It's just like hard to keep track of things. Oops, looks like I didn't quite grab everything, but let's see, edit. So I'm gonna go ahead and group all this into that's a good one. And stack and brightness contrast. This is gonna be interesting to try to I feel like it almost looks a little weird having it so warm colored. Let's color grade this guy. Well, we're gonna start with that. I'm actually gonna duplicate that. Oh, so you duplicate. Sometimes I'll group things many times. So if I duplicate that. It's a little too symmetrical. I'm lazy, I'm just gonna do it this way. And I duplicate it again. It's kind of weird. So. What was that? Oh, that's where that guy is. Okay, I'm gonna put him in his rightful place. Scale it down just a little more. There we go. Starting to take shape. I feel like I almost need like some like loose rolls of it, but I'm gonna save that for final touch. I'm gonna go down here and add it like essentially a shadow under all. Oops, under that's not what I do. Under all this stuff. I'm very sloppy with it. But all right, so that's coming together. So now I want to let me grab. So I want to add like a person standing there because I think that's going to actually really help make the composition a bit stronger. I found an image for that. I thought maybe it would work. Let's see. guy here. That one, or there's another one. This one here. I don't know if I like him looking at camera though. I almost want it more like he discovered this huge like stockpile. The only thing you have to watch is like when you're importing layers where they end up landing. So I'm gonna do that. So another tip when scaling images, so you can obviously now by default when you pull in a corner with the whatever this tool is, the move tool, then it scales kind of from the opposite corner. But if you hold Alt, then it'll scale from the middle. So sometimes that's just a little faster to get kind of what you're wanting. Only problem with this is the grade is kind of heavy, so we'll see if we can use it. But found him pretty fast, so that's handy. All right, we're gonna go with that. And add a mask. That might actually hide most of that, which is actually good because I wasn't super happy with the middle. I usually try, like, if I can, to hide the feet. Because then you can't really tell where it connects with the ground, and you can't quite tell perspectives sometimes then. Hello. I just feel like this should be like, it needs to not feel so big, like, it needs to feel like a ton of toilet paper. See if I can actually correct, because that's pretty different lighting. Might make them almost more silhouetted. Might work. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that off for the moment. Next up is I'm gonna work on the lighting. Or at least try to make it look a little bit more decent. So, try to think. I do. If I made it less warm, if that would actually be better. That actually almost looks better. And then have like warm light coming in. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Just gonna try to turn the warmth down on some of that stuff. Stuff's way too bright. there needs to be shadows. So, I'm gonna grab all of this stuff. Some lighting adjustments to the whole thing. So one thing I saw somebody do recently is to use the levels to kind of try to match that actually is interesting. So what I'll maybe do is bring the levels down. That really feels like it's blending in a little better. And then I'm going to use this mask and actually erase. Well, just lower the opacity. Essentially create our light. Coming in here, we need to like have it hitting on here. Kind of like, almost like light streaks kind of hitting. Maybe too random. Kind of coming from that skylight area. Whoa. So for reference, that's what it looked like before. That's what it looks like now. Before, after. Big difference. Okay, so I think I might actually go ahead and darken this up a little bit. Kind of blend it into the ground a little better. Still not looking postery, but okay. I think we need some haze, because life is so much better with haze. Oops. Find my folder where I have that. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Where did I put that? Yeah, I think I have it here. So I just use a stock photo of haze. So it's literally just a smoke photo. I'll extend that out a little bit. And then if I set it to screen, I think screen is going to be our best bet. It's amazing how just adding some texture and stuff like that makes it feel so much more like a dramatic image rather than just kind of like, oh, here's an image, you know, of something. Obviously it's a little bit much right now, but we will. Whoa. What's making it so... Oh, I see the background. This is making it less... Okay. So I think I'm going to actually add an adjustment. A full photo filter just to that. Yeah, the light streaks. I'm hoping I can make them a little bit more pronounced. Yeah, still, but just a little bit more yellow. Okay, and I'm gonna duplicate that. Scale it up a bit. So just like in like the real world, like you have to have haze for the light to interact with. And so if you add some haze in here, obviously that's way too much. That makes a difference. So if this works, of course, but add a mask, and I'm gonna try to essentially kind of create. Take down some of the. Make it feel like it's coming sourcey from that side. Is that too much right now? I think what I might actually do then is create like a. A little bit. It's kind of like it's too much. Maybe make it a little smaller one. It's a little too sharp. I feel like for me with anything I design, it's always a process of experimentation, like figuring out what's going to work and what's not. Try to draw straight. Ugh. Okay. I like that. I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to draw in some. And then erase some. Light needs to be straight looking. I cannot do this straight for my life, save my life, but yeah, a little bit more. Let's start and take shape. I'm gonna actually adjust this back one. Oh, I see I need to add another photo filter to that one. Yeah, that looks better. And I'll actually just reduce the opacity just a little bit. Alright, so just for reference, if I turn off the haze, wow, and then turn it back on, much more yummy. Okay, so we've got the haze. Let's see what's next. So let's go back to our person. Black levels are not matching super well on him yet. Go to levels, and then apply it to him. I feel like he's almost silhouetted. And then actually need to fix that mask a bit. Serious what I want. 'cause that's not him. Okay. So we've got that. And I'm gonna try to do... make this bigger. Harness down. Essentially, like, try to make it like him rimmed a little bit of like sun hitting him. Maybe make it a little less soft. It's looking weird on his ear, but I'll fix that in a minute. That's weird. If anybody has, like, if y'all have suggestions, like, feel free to chime in. This is totally a process of experimentation for me. I don't want any on head side. No, I think just one side. Wait. Oh, I'll be erasing it. Yeah. So that's looking about right. I think I need to see a little bit on his ear. Alright, I'm gonna erase a little, oops. That, and I add B. I'm just gonna reduce the opacity a little bit. Just take this down a little bit. There's a well. So now I need to have like light hitting the ground here. So what if I use level? I don't know if levels is a good... I don't think that's really a... Whoa. Okay. Wow. See, I haven't really used levels much before. So I just saw it in a tutorial today, and like, that's crazy powerful. Cool. Well, I'm actually gonna use that. And then I'm gonna draw kind of a pattern, like try to get some light streaks on the ground, and hopefully it won't look too cheesy. So let's say it's like coming in from over here. I want it to feel like it's a door. So, or like kind of like some. Yeah. I wonder if there's a way I can like. So I can duplicate that to like. Try to get two that are exactly the same. That's like. With a mouse, like that. Let's see. Try to like make it like, oh, I know what I'm missing, because I need it to like, it should be, it's hitting him, so he should be casting a shadow. So, you know, it would be This one for sure would get blocked. This is looking kind of sloppy, but also running low on time. That might do. Actually, adjust this a little bit. And I'm going to let's see. I can apply a photo filter just to that. I wonder if I can copy. Yeah. So copy. Or no, I'm gonna do this and hit delete. And then invert. So I think should then just affect. No. Oh, you know what? I think I need to actually. Do I invert this the other way? Is that not doing anything? Okay, that didn't work. Let's try something different. Okay, so we want to do add mask to selection. Okay. Then I want to add, oops, and then add a photo filter. I think it'll just apply in that area. If I'm not mistaken. There we go. I don't know if that's looking right. Oops. So you can see these light streaks are coming in a little bit more diagonal. Something like that. I think I need to make him a little bit more so I need to erase a little bit more on him. Like if he's actually getting hit that hard with the sun. Okay, that's looking decent. Goodness, I think I'm a little bit past. I'm past my hour by now. Okay, so I gotta wrap this up quickly. I'm gonna try to add a little bit of like darkness under his feet to help hopefully him like sit in there a little bit better. Just a little bit. I don't know if that's really gonna work or not, but I'm gonna go with that. And then I wanted to add like I wanted to make this look a little post-apocalyptic-ish. I don't think that's a word, but whatever. We just want gun, because that's always a cool idea. Just need to find a gun where we can see most of the gun. Here we go. Download it. I have this theme with guns. in post-apocalyptic type stuff I tend to do a lot of, but you know what? I'm not gonna apologize. Oh, you know, another thing I could do while I'm at it real quick is add a little bit more. I find that adding like texture elements really helps the composition just feel so much better for some reason. So like adding like lots of little like even if it's really subtle, just like some textures and haze and all that kind of stuff. So obviously that's way too bright. Just kind of adding to that dusty vibe. Just take a little bit off him. Okay. Start with that. I'm gonna actually take a little bit off the edges, just so we don't get too bright. Alright, now I'm gonna go to I'm getting tired. I was not intending to take this long on this, but now I'm this close. I should enforce myself sometime to stick to what I say on timelines, but you know what? That's no fun. But no, for real, I do need to do that. It's kind of like dieting. It's like I'll do that tomorrow. It's super sloppy. I'm just happy this is actually working out kind of like I was anticipating. Like sometimes you come up with an idea and it just doesn't work and you're like, well, but this is actually working, so that's exciting. Alright, let's grab our levels. Levels is my new favorite. You know, that's actually a great question. For some, like, I've done it some, but for some reason, when you blur them, it actually makes it feel like for a poster, like, for whatever reason, they don't actually often, like, blur stuff. It's usually, like, all in focus, and I'm not sure quite why that is, but occasionally they'll do it. But it seems like not as often, so yeah. I feel like it's definitely something you could do. Okay, so actually I need to add... I need the gun to be shiny too because it's sticking out. Actually add something to be shiny. Might add just a glint on the scope. It's almost like it's kind of coming over him a little bit then too. I don't know. It's just like you can see like hitting there. Maybe that's why it feels right to like a little bit of a... Oops. Okay. It's looking a little too sharp though. So this, sometimes what I'll do is filter, I forget, there's like, it's like not, I don't know if it's, I think I usually do like some field blur, like I'll do it a little bit just to like right now it looks a little bit too crisp compared to even like him. So if I just add like just a smidge, it helps it fit in better for some reason. I think I also need to add just a slight bit of like a shadow on him. Oops. Brushes down. It's obviously way too obvious, but probably making ridiculous faces. Okay. I think I'm gonna try to add one more thing just to complete his outfit. See, where did I use that last? here we go. Try to find. I need to like organize where I keep all these assets, but gotta add the gun, you know. Save it to one. Okay. That's the levels. Bring up the facts just to kind of match that a little bit. It's almost like a greenish color. Whoa. Looks like the Matrix. That's actually really interesting. Nah. I don't think this will go on though. Okay. I should do a little bit of color grade on it though after. I think that would be a bad idea. There we go. And then I'm gonna go here. His feet are a little bit, you can kind of tell it doesn't look right, but you know, I almost wonder if I should take this. So this is oh no, that's just part of it. It's in the foreground here. Sometimes I find just adding a little bit of something to like separate your character from the background can be helpful. You have to be careful though, you don't want to lose your contrast. So I feel like this helps lighten that area just a little bit. What I could even do is just erase it after him, so it's almost like it's part of the light hitting him. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm gonna go ahead. I think I'm gonna do just a little bit overall correction. A little more contrast. Wonder if I make it a little bit more. Actually, bring back some. Might do that. And then I need to add the title, so called The Virus. Very generic, I know. That's the extent of my creativity that's left right now. Let's see what we got. I feel like it needs to be very like anybody. It looks like there's still some people watching, so you poor folks probably thought it was gonna be done a while ago. Let's see. What could we do with this? So that's just kind of boring. If I try, I'm doing this style quite a bit lately, but if it works, right? Essentially, I'm using a blend mode. And then I can like kind of mask some stuff. Some kind of spatter brush a little bit. I might actually do that on this one a little bit too. Kind of give it that grungy kind of look. I feel like it could be better, but I'm out of time, folks. The all important hoping that'll kind of hide the bad daub on his shoes. I don't know if I can really do that, but we'll call this it's just spring 2020 because that's when it is. Switch this out. The other important thing is to do spell check. So it was like one time, it was like a really obvious thing I just for some reason didn't see. Thankfully I caught it before the end, but like in the whole time lapse behind the scenes video, it's like it's spelled wrong the entire time till the end. Almost like it's a subtitle. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this evening. It's always hard to know when to stop tweaking things, but I should really be in bed, so. It's gonna have to be my answer. I'd like to, like, get some more, like, shine on these things of toilet paper and whatever, but, and, like, fix his shoes. But we might just call that a night. Hey Quentin, thanks for sticking with me. I intended to have this done a little faster, but hey, you know. Sweet, glad you learned something, and yeah, so here you go, that's going to be my poster for tonight. Probably tweak it a couple more things as I'm like rendering it, or not rendering it. But anyways, cool. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, I may do this again in the future, who knows. I'm probably going to switch to doing a few more like just simpler, quick and dirty posters to get by kind of a thing the next few days, because I'm spending too much time on this lately. But always great hanging out. We'll do this again sometime. So anyway, where's my live stream thingy? There it is. Yeah, thanks again for hanging out, and we'll catch you all another time. Peace out.